Actually, that part of our trade, spices, were all cinnamon. The trade was dominated by the Kerala merchants who came to Sri Lanka and who got integrated into the Sri Lankan system. The Pattini Devalaya at Navagamuwa is one of the results of the Kerala influence and absorption into the culture of Sri Lanka. 700 years have passed since that occurred. But about 3 centuries ago, 1 century after that, the Portuguese came into our region and the prosperity of India and of the region vanished. By end of the 19th century, India was just 1% of the world's GDP. Now it has changed. You can again see the transfer of economic power into the Asian region. 75 years ago, starting with East Asia with Japan, the rest of East Asia, Korea, China, coming into this area, now you find it's the turn of India and the Indian Ocean. It's not merely India that is rising. You'll find on the other side of West Asian countries, the oil countries. And Sri Lanka is positioned in the middle with a strategic advantage and just a stone's throw from India. With such a history, with such a culture, and trading relations going back into 2,500 years, we have seen the world changing. India is fast developing. India has done rapid economic restructuring, especially under the government of Prime Minister Modi. And you can see the results now. Sri Lanka, unfortunately, had to undergo this crisis, but we are coming out of it. I thought we can't be dragging this out like Greece. We are not a Greek tragedy, but a country that can always recover. And as the country recovers, we have to get back to economic restructure. We started earlier, but we have slowed down. And we too, once the debt restructuring is over, we are already planning the growth agenda. A massive restructuring of our economy, of our laws, of our systems. So we would find that India and Sri Lanka be having the same system. But we want to build up a highly competitive economy which can compete with the world, a green economy and a digital economy. So this is what we are working at. So in this journey, we should go together. That's what we have done for 2,500 years. Whatever be the political relations, the cultural and economic relations were always firm, on a firm foundation. So my task now, when I go to India, will be, as Gopal said, to look at what is the connectivity. How close connectivity are we to have? So first is decide what is the long-term objectives and goals of our two countries' relationship. We are going into a new age. We must go there together. And remember, development doesn't stop in India. In another 50 years' time, it will be taking place in Africa, around us. So in my view, what we discussed with Prime Minister Modi is what's our vision and what are we going to do immediately. And I think that's a matter when we come back, it should be debated in the country. I will certainly put the statement before Parliament. If someone has any other opinion or alternative, let us know. Just as I put the IMF agreement before Parliament, the Extended Fund Facility, EFF, and we brought the debt restructuring. This is important. We have to decide within the next 2 decades what is our relationship going to be with India and what's the connectivity. We can't be suspicious of each other. We have to work together. And remember, the relationship at the end is not driven by governments. It's driven by the people of both countries. And they are moving fast. So we have to keep up with it. The world is changing. And we've learned what happens when governments don't change. So now our task is to go ahead. But then the idea is that we go there and we establish a long-term relation. It's not between two individuals. It's not between a BJP government and this government. It's a relationship between the two countries. And there's a lot we can do together. And that's the journey that we should go. Prakash told us he'd like to see the Indian rupee in circulation. We are starting that. Like you, I'd like the Indian rupee to be used as much as the dollar. India to be a common currency. It doesn't matter to us. We'll have to work out how we do it. So this is what we have to do. We have to open out to the world. For Sri Lanka, not only India, the whole of Southeast Asia, East Asia, the whole of RCEP, Australia, we have to be competitive. We have to negotiate a deeper trade agreement with the EU. The world is ours to conquer if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you are going to fail. So with this, I must thank the Indian CEOs who have been with us through thick and thin, especially the support you gave last year and occasionally for the fuel that LIOC also gave us.